My stepsister shattered my life when she lured my husband into an affair, faked a pregnancy, and my family demanded I give up my marriage for her. Hey everyone, I'm a 28-year-old female, and I feel like I'm being forced to choose between my happiness and my family. I did not want to be put in this situation, but I feel like I have no other choice. I've been married to my husband, a 29-year-old male, for the past 3 years. Our wedding happened right before COVID, so my family, mom, stepdad, and stepsister, Leah, did not have the opportunity to have a family gathering per se. We were in lockdown in 2 different states. After Thanksgiving this year, when we were financially stable enough, my family suggested I should go on a weekend visit to the lake with them. My stepdad, who's a real estate agent, has a lake house, and we used to go there growing up. Due to the estranged relationship I had with my family, I was not looking forward to hanging out with them. Honestly, I was not in contact with my family before my marriage. Once I moved out at 18, I stopped contacting them. However, my husband wanted a full house during the wedding, so he insisted I get in touch with them. Even though I had my reservations, I was forced to reconnect with them, and I did so begrudgingly. The lack of hanging out as a family did not bother me in the slightest. However, once my husband heard about the invitation, he was super excited to go there with my parents, and I agreed with him, albeit reluctantly. While I was at the weekend retreat, I was reminded of the partiality my family showed toward Leah. I actively chose not to be part of these social moments when they sat around the fire or by the lake and discussed everything. My husband was a part of that. As we decided to go during a long weekend, we were there from Friday to Sunday. On Saturday night, they were drinking by the fire, and as I'm not much of a drinker, I decided to take my exit. The next day, when I woke up, my husband, who was super excited about going with the family, seemed uncomfortable. He was uncomfortable as long as we were with Leah. Once we had parted ways, my husband seemed much more like himself. I asked him about it, and he did not tell me anything that led me to believe something may have happened between them. As Leah had previously exhibited that type of behavior when I was in high school, I assumed my husband had an affair with Leah, but I tried not to let those intrusive thoughts affect me. If they had truly done something, he would have told me. Since the retreat, my husband was not very comfortable around Leah, which made my anxiety worse. 3 days ago, my parents dropped a bombshell on me. They called and told me that Leah is pregnant, and claimed it is my husband's baby. They said that, as a good elder sister, I should divorce my husband and let him marry Leah. Hearing that broke my heart. Now that things have hit the fan, I decided to confront my husband. He told me that while it is true they were physically intimate, he did not mean for it to happen. Leah made him drink a lot more than he can tolerate. He is very lightweight, and to a certain extent, forced him to be intimate with her. He does not remember much of the night, but he remembers every time he said no, and she kept trying to kiss him, then waking up next to her naked. With how everything is laid out in front of me, I do not know how to describe the situation. It feels like an affair, but not an affair at the same time. I'm so overwhelmed, and I do not know what I'm going to do anymore. Update 1. Since many of you wanted to know about my history with Leah, the story started when I was 14 years old. My parents had separated 3 years prior, and since then, it was evident that my mother was not very happy with her life. My mother had always attached her self-worth to how much love she was getting from other people, so separating from my father, whom she had been with for a very long time, affected her quite a bit. She met my stepdad when I was 14. Their chemistry and attraction were impeccable, and 2 years later, they got married. My stepdad moved in with us, and along with him came my stepsister, Leah, who was barely a year younger than me. She was everything I was not. You know how in those teen movies 2 sisters are completely different. One is blonde, haired, blue-eyed, preppy, and popular, while the other is a brunette loner? That was what happened in my life. Leah and I were extremely different. She was the perfect, great student, while I was a mediocre student. As she was so perfect, beautiful, and amazing, she highlighted all the flaws I had. She made sure everyone in the family and outside the family knew I had many flaws. Everything she did was to spite me. Ever since she joined our family, she became the apple of my mom's eye. She was already her father's favorite and then stole my mother from me. I'm not suggesting I expected my mom to keep her eyes on me 24/7, but I wanted her to be involved in my life after my dad left us. She was all I had. But Leah made sure to keep her busy. My mom was busy with Leah all the time. Leah needed her at her recital, her play, and her basketball tournament, to the extent that my mom was never there for me. While I'm a bit more closed off and knew I did not have as many programs for her to attend, it was still jarring to see my mom simply forget I existed and was there just for Leah. Whenever we had our results, I noticed that the way my mom and stepdad treated me was vastly different from how they treated Leah. If Leah scored less, they would excuse her, but if I scored less, it was not accepted at all in their eyes. As I did not have many extracurricular activities and hobbies, if I scored a little less, it was a bad thing. And I should be like Leah because then it would be less embarrassing for my entire family. Understandably, I never got too close to Leah, owing to how our parents worshipped the ground she walked on. Leah, too, started behaving that way with me. She was condescending, harsh, and cruel toward me on an emotional level, which I understood after I moved out of the house. During our high school days, Leah made sure to spread rumors about me, which caused my bullying to get worse. Since we both used our respective parents' surnames, nobody ever thought Leah and I were living under the same roof or were related. It was strange to live with my biggest bully. I felt like I had no way to get peace. This is why, when I got the opportunity to leave the state and move somewhere else for university, I did. Once I moved out, things were so much better. Honestly, I had no intention of ever getting back in touch with my family, and I hate that I was forced to reconnect with them. Now that all is said and done, you can see why I hate everything about my family. My family does not feel like my family anymore, and I feel so lost. As far as my husband is concerned, as I mentioned before, he has insisted several times that he had no intention of having sex with her, and what happened was something he did not have control over. He definitely does not want to be stuck with her. While he is saying this, my whole family keeps insisting I should accept that my marriage is dead and let her have him instead since she's carrying his child. They say it would be better if they were together because that would be better for the family they're about to have. Honestly, any advice you have would be extremely helpful. Update 2. I hear what you are saying. I will refuse the whole divorce thing because, honestly, my husband is the victim. Now that I have had time to process everything with your help, this was not an affair. And my husband should not have to be with someone who violated his boundaries. I will ask for a paternity test and go from there. I'm hoping the result comes out negative. I do not want Leah to bear my husband's child. This is not how I wanted my married life to be, and now everything is spiraling out of control. Update 3. Hey everyone, sorry it took a while to update you. A lot has happened, and I have been rather emotionally overwhelmed. I told my husband about the paternity test, and my whole family went off on me saying, this is exploitative, and that I should believe Leah instead of my husband. I told them it would be better to confirm, but I still had not mentioned my husband's side of the story. I told them I want to be there when the DNA report is read out. I will pay for the paternity test myself, and if my husband is the father, I will consider divorcing him. Leah finally agreed to do a paternity test. However, on the day we were to get the sample from her, she went through a miscarriage under mysterious circumstances. Did the miscarriage take any toll on her? No. Did she look remotely bothered by it? Not really. It was strange how coincidental it was. I have a feeling she was not pregnant in the first place, because by my calculations, she would have been about 4 months along, and she would have been showing a little, which she was not. Realizing how far my stepsister was willing to go to ruin my relationship with my husband was an eye-opener. I realized this is not something I want to deal with, and with that, I went no contact with my family again. This time, my husband did not have anything to say against my decision since the reality of the situation came to light. I've decided to support my husband with the trauma he went through, and we are going to therapy together. I'm trying to process the emotional baggage I have thanks to negligent parents, while he's working on dealing with someone violating his boundaries like that. Despite everything, I must say this situation brought my husband and me a lot closer, and I am thankful for that. I am hopeful that eventually we both will be able to grow and move past this terrible event. I can understand the emotions you are feeling. A part of you feels betrayed and thinks this was an affair, but the reality is that your husband is the victim of sexual assault. If he was drunk and unable to consent, this is sexual assault, and Leah is a terrible human being. I suggest not bothering to communicate with them. Ask her for a paternity test and refuse to divorce your husband. If the child is your husband's, you can decide whether you want anything to do with the child or not, but get a paternity test first to confirm. If the test comes out negative, go no contact with the family. They are a terrible family. If your husband is right, Leah raped him. Take her to court because you do have valid grounds. If you do not want to get a paternity test, then go no contact with them if the child is not your husband's. My heart goes out to you. Next story. My family and I were discussing how we want to celebrate Christmas this year at our weekly family dinner. My brother's roommate, a 27-year-old male, joins us for dinner every week. In previous years, we've gathered at my parents' house around 8 o'clock in the morning to open presents and stay until lunch at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I, a 24-year-old female, requested that we do something different this year. I have a daughter who's in toddlerhood, and I want to open Santa presents with her at our house. Last year, my daughter and I lived at my parents' house, so it was no big deal, and we did our normal thing. Since we have our own home now, I'd like to open presents with her at my house and asked if we could all gather at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at my parents' to do presents, then have dinner at about 5 o'clock. This way, we're still spending the same amount of time together. It's important to note that this is what we did growing up. My brother, a 26-year-old male, and I would spend the morning at our house, and then we would all go to Grandma's for dinner. When I brought this up, my brother's roommate turned to my brother and said, "That doesn't work. I'll be at my parents' house from Christmas Eve to Christmas morning." I said, "It doesn't really matter, does it? Also, how does that conflict? If he wants to come, he can. If he doesn't want to come, he just stays at home while my brother comes to celebrate Christmas." My mom extended the invitation for the roommate to join us for Christmas, and then later told me I was being rude. I don't really think so, because this is the way it was when I was growing up, and I think it's the way most families do it. I mean, it would be weird to tell my daughter Santa comes to her grandma's house. Edit, I don't believe my brother's roommate is his boyfriend. I'm out as bisexual, and my brother has never told me he was bi or gay and does not act like his roommate is his partner. Edit 2. He was not invited before he made that comment. He's not in the family group chat and wasn't involved in the Secret Santa name drawing. NTA, not the a-hole. You haven't done anything wrong in suggesting a different plan. If that doesn't work for your brother and his roommate possible boyfriend, that's just one of those things. It was kind of your mom to invite the roommate, but you weren't being rude. None of you have been given any indication they would expect or want to spend the afternoon together, and at the slightest hint, your mom was happy to invite the friend. All seems perfectly polite and reasonable. NTA. He shouldn't have given the "that doesn't work" response. He should have let everyone come to a decision and then informed the group that he wouldn't be able to come, and let that be that. He's your brother's roommate, not his partner, nor family. NTA, you might have been a bit rude in how you expressed it, but not in a whole for the basic premise. This is not a family member, it's a roommate who has had the benefit of joining family meals in the past. You have a child now. Traditions evolve as families change, and what you have asked for is totally reasonable. A roommate's feelings don't really belong in this equation. The next story, first things first, I'm broke. Earlier today, I got a text from my friend asking me to come with her to the store to buy some Christmas gifts for her family. Both of us don't have a car, so we had to Uber there and back. The cost going was $32, and coming back was $36, so $68 in total. After we got back to her place, she sent me an Apple Pay request for $34. I was confused as to why, because she's the one who asked me to come with her. I thought since we didn't plan on going together and because I didn't want to go in the first place, I didn't have to pay for the ride. I mentioned to her, "Why did you send the request?" She said, "Well, we both took the same Uber to go there and come back." I was a bit upset, but I sent her the money anyway. Later during the night, I told her I was going to order food. My dad made me use his card. I asked her if she wanted anything, but I asked in a way to make it seem as if I was going to pay, just like, "Hey, I'm going to order food. Want anything?" She said yes. My order was $42.75, and hers was $47.50. With the delivery fee and tip, it came up to $92.83 in total. After the food came, she looked over and said, "Thanks so much." I waited until we were both done eating, then sent her an Apple Pay request for $53, which includes her meal, half of the delivery fee, and half the tip. She got very upset with me and called me a B-word. She went on and on about how she thought I was going to pay. I don't know, am I the a-hole here? Edit, I'm a student. I understand that I could simply have used the money I had to buy groceries, but that would have been impossible for me. I live in dorms hours away from home. My friend doesn't because her home is 10 minutes away, so I wouldn't have anywhere to cook a proper meal. You might be right. Why didn't I cook at my friend's place? I simply didn't want to do that because her parents weren't there, and I didn't want to use their things without permission. My definition of broke is probably different than yours. I have a few bucks in my savings, but that's for college bills that I can't touch. I had no money in my checking account because I sent her the last of it for the Uber. Yes, I understand that the food I ordered was expensive. In my defense, nothing here is cheap. Food is overpriced, and I thought if I ordered food that would last me a few days, it was worth it in the end. Edit 2, she paid me back. The money was sent back to my dad's account. I've been sitting with this mess for a while now. and I need to pour it all out because it's eating me alive. I don't even know where to start with how I'm feeling. It's like I'm stuck in this storm of emotions, and every time I think I've found solid ground, another wave hits me. There's so much anger inside me, this burning, tight feeling in my chest that flares up every time I think about Leah. What she did to my husband, manipulating him when he was drunk, pushing past his nose, and then lying about a pregnancy to tear us apart. It's disgusting. It makes me sick to my stomach to know she could be so cruel, so calculated, just to hurt me again. It's like she's been waiting since we were kids to find new ways to make me feel small, and this time, she went too far. I keep replaying that weekend at the lake house, wondering if I could have seen it coming, if I could have protected him somehow. The guilt creeps in, even though I know it's not my fault. I hate that she made me doubt myself, even for a second. Then there's the sadness, this heavy, aching weight that sits on my heart. I'm grieving for the family I thought I could have, even if I never really had it. Growing up, I always felt like an outsider in my own home, watching. My mom and stepdad pour all their love and attention into Leah. I told myself I was over it, that moving out at 18 and cutting contact meant I'd left that pain behind. But when my husband pushed me to reconnect for the wedding, it was like ripping open an old wound. I didn't want to admit how much it hurt to see them fawn over Leah again. At the lake house, to feel like I was invisible all over again. And now, with them believing her lies about the pregnancy and pressuring me to divorce my husband, it's like they're saying I don't matter at all. It's not just betrayal, it's abandonment. My mom was supposed to be my rock after my dad left, but she chose Leah every time. I feel like I'm mourning the mom I needed but never had, and it's this deep, hollow sadness that I can't shake. Betrayal is the worst of it, though. It's like a knife in my back, twisting every time I think about my family's reaction. They didn't even ask for my side or my husband's. They just took Leah's word as gospel and decided I should sacrifice my marriage for her. It's not just that they believed her, it's that they didn't even consider me. I keep asking myself how we got here, how my own family could turn on me like this. I think back to high school, when Leah spread rumors that made my life hell. When I was bullied because of her lies, and nobody ever stopped to question her. It's the same pattern, and it hurts so much more now because I thought I'd built a life where I was safe from that. I feel betrayed by the idea of family itself, like it's this thing I was promised but never got to have. I wanted to believe we could be different after the wedding, that maybe we could rebuild something, but now I see that was a fantasy. Going no contact again was the only choice I could make, but it still feels like I'm losing something, even if it was never really mine. Despite all this, there's a part of me that's holding on to love and gratitude, and that's what keeps me going. My husband, he's my anchor in all this chaos. What happened to him was awful, and seeing him struggle with the trauma of being violated by Leah breaks my heart. I can see it in his eyes, the way he flinches sometimes, the way he's quieter than he used to be. But he's still here, still fighting for us, and that means everything. I love him so much, and I'm so grateful that we're facing this together. Therapy's been a lifeline, even if it's hard. Some sessions, I just sit there and cry, letting out all the pain I've been carrying since I was a kid. Other times, I listen to him talk about what happened, and I feel this fierce need to protect him, to make sure he knows he's not alone. We're rebuilding trust, not just in each other, but in ourselves, and it's slow, messy work. But when he reaches for my hand or gives me that small, hopeful smile, I feel like we're going to be okay. It's like we're building something new, something stronger, out of the wreckage. I'm scared, though. I'm terrified that I'll never fully trust anyone again, not after this. The idea of letting people in, of opening myself up to more hurt, feels impossible right now. I keep wondering if I'll always be looking over my shoulder, waiting for the next betrayal. I'm scared that this pain will change me, make me harder or colder than I want to be. I don't want to lose the part of me that hopes, that believes in good things, but it's hard to hold on to that when I feel so raw. I'm also scared for my husband, for how this trauma will shape him. I want him to heal, to feel whole again. But I know it's not something I can fix for him. All I can do is be there, and sometimes I worry that won't be enough. But there's hope too, even if it's small and fragile. I hold on to the moments when things feel okay, like when we laugh over something silly, or when we're in therapy and I can see us both trying so hard. I'm hopeful that we can build a life where we're enough for each other, where we don't need my family or their approval. I want to believe we can move past this, that we can create a home filled with love and safety, the kind I never had growing up. I'm trying to focus on the future, on the possibility of healing, but it's hard when the past keeps pulling me back. I feel so lost sometimes, like I'm wandering in this fog of hurt and anger. But then I look at my husband and I see a reason to keep going. I'm exhausted, but I'm not giving up. I want us to come out of this stronger, to prove that Leah and my family can't break us. I'm holding on to that hope with everything I've got, because it's all I have left.